Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely pumped to dive into this with you today. If you've ever felt like your relationship with money is, well, a little all over the place, or if you're just trying to figure out the actual mechanics behind financial freedom, you're in the perfect place. Today, we're unpacking a total paradigm shift in how we think about money. We're going to completely step away from those rigid, boring formulas and look at the actual, fascinating reality of how wealth is built and kept.
So let's just get right into it. For literally the longest time, we've all been sold this idea that money is just math, right? Spreadsheets, formulas, cold, hard calculations. But actually, scratch that. I want to completely shatter that myth right now. The truth is way deeper, and honestly, way more interesting. The way we actually handle our money, it's driven by incredibly human emotions. We're talking fear, pride, ego, and our hopes for the future. It's psychology, not just math.
Think about it. The most massive financial decisions of your life aren't happening while you're staring at an Excel spreadsheet. No way. They're happening right there, sitting around the dinner table. And that's because every single one of us carries around this completely unique financial DNA. It's like a fingerprint. Our beliefs are molded by our generation, where we grew up, our family history. Someone raised during an economic boom sees money and risk completely differently than someone who grew up during a painful recession. Our personal history totally dictates our financial beliefs, and then those beliefs drive our decisions.
This brings us to part one, the engine of wealth, specifically the roles of time, luck, and risk.
Now, when we picture massive wealth, our minds instantly go to people like Warren Buffett, right? And it's so easy to assume he just got insanely rich overnight, or that his secret was this sheer, unmatched, mystical investing talent. But his real secret weapon? It's just compounding. Honestly, his secret was time. He started investing when he was just a kid, and he simply kept doing it year after year for decades. He just let those small, little gains repeat and snowball over long periods to create those explosive results we see today. It's not magic, it's just math that was given enough time to run absolutely wild.
Let's actually look at how that math plays out in the real world. Say you take a starting amount of just $1,000 and you apply a pretty standard 5% growth rate over 20 periods. You end up with over $2,650. To put that into perspective, your starting number doesn't need to be $1 million, and you don't need some impossible 50% return rate to see real money. It's literally just the simple, relentless repetition of that compounding formula over time. That is what transforms incredibly ordinary beginnings into extraordinary outcomes.
To really lock this concept in, imagine two totally equally skilled investors. Let's say they're identical in their knowledge, they read the exact same books, pick the exact same stocks. But investor A starts at age 10, and investor B starts at age 50. Investor A is going to win, hands down, and it's not even a competition. Why? Because compounding simply rewards time so much more than it rewards sheer talent. It really isn't just about what you know, it's about how long you actually let your investment sit there and work for you. Time beats talent every single time.
And this whole dynamic perfectly explains why our daily news looks the way it does. Bad news spreads like wildfire, right? A market crash is loud, it's fast, and it instantly dominates every headline. That pessimism is literally impossible to ignore. But optimism? The years and years of quiet, steady, compounding growth? That goes totally unnoticed because it's just so slow. This is exactly why we mistakenly fixate on fear. We are hardwired to look at the loud crash. Even though history proves over and over that quiet, steady progress almost always wins out in the long run.
But hey, we also have to be completely real about the other invisible forces at play here: luck and risk. Because success is never, ever just about talent alone. Take Bill Gates, for example. Yes, the guy is undeniably brilliant, for sure. But as a teenager, he just so happened to attend one of the only high schools in the entire world that had a computer lab with advanced machines. That rare, incredibly lucky opportunity completely altered the trajectory of his life. Sometimes massive success really is just your preparation colliding with a wildly lucky opportunity. We kind of have to accept that our financial lives are heavily shaped by events entirely outside of our control.
Which leads us directly to a super crucial concept: tail events. In business and investing, the vast majority of your results are going to come from a tiny fraction of your actions. You might have 100 different startup ideas or investments, and you know what? Most of them might totally fail or just do nothing. And that is perfectly normal, because all it takes is one absolute rocket, like an Amazon, to drive massive, life-changing success. You don't have to hit the nail on the head every single time. You literally just have to stay in the game long enough to capture one of those tail events.
Moving on to part 2, the illusion versus reality, wealth versus richness.
So when you look around, richness is what's highly visible to us. It's the sleek luxury car sitting at the stoplight. It's the heavy, shiny Rolex on someone's wrist. It's the brand-name designer clothes. Society basically trains us to look at all these visible markers and instantly assume, wow, that person is financially successful. But here's the catch. All those visible items actually tell you is how much money that person has spent. It doesn't tell you a single thing about how much they actually have.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. True wealth is actually what you don't see. Wealth is completely hidden. It's the money that was purposefully not spent on that luxury car. It's the quiet investments just compounding away in the background over decades. True wealth is built entirely on patience and restraint. It's the investor calmly watching their portfolio grow, rather than the person who's secretly drowning in high monthly bills just to keep up the appearance of looking rich. But building that invisible wealth, it requires paying a toll. Every reward in life has a price tag, and investing is absolutely no different. But the price of investing isn't paid in dollars, it's paid in emotion. The price is uncertainty. It's stomaching the crazy volatility of the market. It's managing your own deep-seated fear. A lot of people out there demand these impossible risk-free returns, but successful investors, they don't do that. They learn to accept the storm of volatility. They see it simply as the price of admission you have to pay for long-term growth.
And that brings us to our final section, the ultimate purpose, knowing when it's enough.
Okay, so why are we doing all of this? Why the compounding, the saving, the weathering the storm? Well, it all comes down to the single greatest dividend that money can ever pay: freedom. Most people assume the whole point of having money is to buy luxury goods, but it's not. The ultimate purpose of money is to buy ultimate control over your own time. It's having the freedom to wake up and do exactly what you want, when you want to do it, with the exact people you love for as long as you want. That level of total autonomy, that is the highest return on investment you could ever possibly achieve.
But there's a trap here, and it's a really dangerous one. We spend so much time worrying about running out of money, right? But the biggest risk actually isn't having too little. The biggest risk is never ever feeling satisfied. It's so incredibly easy to just spend your entire life trapped on this golden staircase, endlessly climbing higher and higher, endlessly chasing more status, more stuff, more money, while completely missing out on the actual life that's happening right beneath you.
So, I'm going to ask you directly, when is your enough? Seriously, have you actually stopped to define it? Because true happiness and real peace of mind only show up the very moment you can clearly define your stopping point. If you just keep moving the goalposts, you know what happens? You never actually win the game.
I want to leave you with this final, absolutely beautiful thought to wrap up this explainer. Money isn't just about getting rich. It's about securing peace of mind and gaining the ability to live life entirely on your own terms. Remember, spreadsheets do not define your success, your behavior does. So, what kind of life do you actually want to live? And how can you start using your money today to buy the freedom to actually live it? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this, and I really hope it completely shifts how you view your own wealth.